What has been the funniest misconception of the show just based on the name that you've heard?
Well, I've heard people thought it was about a bakery, and it's absolutely not about a bakery. I think that's it because people don't, I mean, I didn't know what black cake was before I read the book either. So I guess I can understand why people think this is a show about a bakery. It is not.
So, what do you think is gonna be the most eye-opening part of this whole series for folks?
Well, there are multiple mysteries on the show. There is a murder mystery. We know, in episode one that there is a groom who has been murdered, and we will find out in season one who killed him. And the other mystery is, how did Covey, this runaway bride in 1960s Jamaica, become Eleanor, this woman in present day Southern California who lives in Orange County? That's another mystery. And then over the course of, the first few episodes, we reveal some additional mysteries that are big, plot twists, especially at the end of episode 4, which just came out yesterday. But I think, people will be most surprised by Covey's journey and everything that this young woman went through, and the fact that she became this amazing woman. It's a miracle.
Turn back to our own lives. Does this series make you wanna go ask your grandmother and your mom about what's going on in the family? What really happened back then?
Yes, it does. And I think it'll make a lot of people ask their parents and their partners. I think we don't ask a lot of questions of the people who came before us. And, who were you before you were my mom or my dad or my grandmother? There are different identities. And if you look at the titles of every episode, every title is one of her identities. And, I just like, I'm a mom. I lived a whole life before I became my daughter's mom. And I will tell her of all of, the trouble I got into before she came into this world. So I hope it does make people sit down with their families and say, okay, so I know what's happening now, but what happened before me? Like, who were you? What were your hopes and dreams? How did you grow up? Absolutely. That's a big part of the show and the book. It's the stories we tell ourselves, how does that form our identity, and what do those stories really mean? And then we find out those stories are not exactly true. Who are we now? Who are we when we find out that some of the stories that we've been told are lies?
If you could describe your life as a cake right now, what kind of cake would it be?
My life as a cake. Oh my God. Like, it would be a cake with like 75 ingredients, 55 layers. I have so much going on all the time. I'm a marriage of so many cultures. I'm a mom, I'm a showrunner, I'm a writer, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I have a million siblings. It would just be like one of those cakes, just throw everything in a pan and bake it and hope that everything works out. I think it's called like a dump cake or something like that. Something that would be my my life as a cake, I
That's
think.
awesome. I was thinking dump a pound.